Hello, everyone. I am Happy Vader, and you're tuning in to Argent Media. Today, I figured we'd start a series where I begin a new account in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and we just go through and see what that looks like. Along the way, I do plan on giving pointers and providing my insights into the game. I'm not an authority on this subject, but I enjoy playing it, and there's been many questions in the guild that I belong in on my primary account, and I figured this would be an opportunity to hopefully answer some of those questions. So let's get right on into it. For those of you unfamiliar with this game, it's a mobile game that came out 2014, 2015, and it's a turn-based game. If you're familiar with games such as Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, a lot of the turn-based RPGs that are out there, then it pretty much operates in a similar manner. I find it interesting because I'm a Star Wars fan, and I just enjoy playing pretty much anything set in the Star Wars universe. So let's continue in through this tutorial system. What they're going to do is get us started with some new character, and this beginning part takes just a little bit of time, but I feel this game has done a great job at just introducing players to the systems and how it works. So I won't procrastinate too much more. We'll just get right into it. So, just using basic attacks. Essentially, tutorials are saying, hey, there's these things down here. You can use abilities. This one right here just heals you. This one's an AoE. Plain and simple. Alright. Next step. We go into the store and we spend crystals, which is this game's currency. And it's just like most mobile games out there that have some kind of microtransaction system. Crystals in this game can be purchased with real money, but in this game you can also accumulate it through different activities and events. So there is a way to play this free to play, and my goal is to play this in a free to play manner, just to kind of show you what that experience looks like, as well as some insights on tips and strategies, just to make this maximize your experience with the game. So let's get on into it. So here we have Clone Wars Chewbacca, a great early tank. So here we have basically Clone Wars Chewbacca in the middle, and on Chewbacca's right is Jedi Consular, which is a great healing class, and on the left is the Clone Sergeant, who is a great for DPS. So here you can see at the top, we're on phase 1 of 2, and so when we complete this, if you notice the health of Chewbacca was down a little bit, between battles, characters in the PvE, which is really only where these multi-battles come in, they tend to heal, I believe, 10% of their health between battles. But they also have the cooldowns of their abilities saved as well. So it's worth kind of banking that going forward. And we'll see more of that as we continue on with this. Alright, so it wants us to hold down over the buffs or debuffs above a character's head, and it will explain what that buff or debuff happens to be. In this case, it's a taunt. So we're forcing our enemy to attack Clone Wars Chewbacca because he's taunting. They have no choice but to go for him. Now that that taunt's been removed, B2 Battle Droid can attack anyone they please, but the battle is over. Easy peasy. And in case you're wondering, I'm playing this on a Microsoft Surface Pro 7, and which makes it difficult to play a game like this on things like BlueStacks and I think Nox or Vox is I think Nox is another one, but essentially any kind of like simulators. So what I have going on right now is I have an old phone of mine, and it's just plugged into USB, and I'm using that to kind of free up the processing power and allow hopefully video captures and streaming captures to be a lot smoother for you and not as cringy to watch things that they just constantly jerk, that make that jerking noises or movements and stuff. So moving forward, they're going to talk about how we can level up characters. So your characters obviously start at level 1, and we click on a character, and here we have a training droid. In this, they show you to do this by clicking on the training droid. For me, this is the one and only time that I do it this way. And we got a quest complete. Quests are very important in the beginning of the game, so this is a great source of gear, even crystals, sometimes character shards. Just double check here, make sure we have the music off. It is a little bit slow going in the beginning, so, but it picks up. So you can kind of see how the screen sort of lags a little bit there. Also the shadows. This is running on an old Samsung Galaxy phone. So the graphics are not going to be equivalent to what's on newer devices. But this is also a 5-plus-year-old game. And impressively, I still have fun with it, so there you have it. Alright, so the player level is separate from the character level. When you go up the player levels, you will have other options available to you. We will go through that as we continue this Let's Play. So upon reaching player level 4, some microtransactions opportunities. I highly recommend you look through the available quests and see what it is they want you to do. Okay, so train Clone Wars Chewbacca level 3, use abilities, and equip a piece of gear. Easy enough. I'm going to go into inventory here. This is part of the tutorial, so don't know if there's a way to back out of that. Not too big of a deal. I'm going to go down here. You can switch between characters with the arrow keys down here. And that's just kind of useful to quickly go through. So, as I was saying before, I like to use this method to level up. It's just easier, rather than manually selecting the training droids. And back into objectives, quests. Okay. So the lineup is kind of important. If you're wondering why they recommend having it that way instead of, say, like this, you'll notice up here there's no leader ability. Some characters have a leader ability and many of them do not. So with Clone Wars Chewbacca, we're going to look at this. Leadership ability is very straightforward. All allies have plus 10 defense. Early on in the game, that's a great leadership ability. It helps with keeping survivability and taking hits. So definitely worth making sure that you have that A leadership slot in there and then making sure it kind of works with the synergy. So here finally, I can bump this speed up to 4 times speed, and I can even auto it if I want. At this point in the game, I'm not too worried about the characters being able to clear it. Now when you auto, the AI will select targets at random, just like what you see right now. And again, no problem. Going into the next one, I have a preference on how this goes down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select what they focus on. So I'm going to click on the target. So there you see, and click on the next target. And they just go and focus on the ones that you selected. Much quicker. Okay. So again, beginning of the game, always check the quests, see what it is they're asking of you. We're almost done with this one, so back here, back to the light side. And we dive on in. So for team composition, that's something we'll get into later. There's some popular compositions out there, and for good reasons. For this series, I am going to take on a personal challenge and try a couple of teams that I feel are easy enough to farm and decent enough to carry through, at least up through the mid-level part of the game. There are events later in the game that I will certainly struggle with by not choosing the popular team compositions, but again, it's a personal challenge that I wanted to try. Every time you level up, you get a set number of energy, bonus energy. Energy is what you use to do battles and carry on through there. So you can see at the top, I have 96 out of 63 energy. It replenishes over time, but if you reach the cap or go above it, then you're not going to be getting any more energy. So just keep that in mind. So here they're going to give us a free character, which is Farm Boy Luke. Farm Boy Luke also has a leadership ability. I think for damage, it might be a little bit better to go with Farm Boy Luke. I think he just gives like tenacity. We'll have to double check. So go in here and take a look at Farm Boy Luke. Tenacity. So makes us resistant to status debuffs, which is nice, but beginning of the game, I still think this leadership ability is probably the way to go. Okay. You can have up a max of up to 5 characters. There are some events, some situations where that's restricted, but for the most part, PvE allows you to have 5 characters in a squad. So we'll just go in with this one. Farmboy Luke is pretty good in the beginning. He's able to output that damage. Also has a chance of stunning with his special, which is very useful. Okay. Magma Trooper, I think that's a commander. They might heal, so I just like taking those out before the Stormtroopers get around to taunting. Okay. Let's go ahead and use some of those training droids we've accumulated. Level up Farmboy Luke. To level 4. If you happen to be a new player, or you're starting a new account, and you have some questions, or even something you'd like to see covered in later videos, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to cover those things. I find it a lot easier to cover subjects in a visual manner. Ah, yes. So, they're going to give me shards for another character here, but there are normal nodes and there are hard nodes for the light side and eventually the dark side story path, or just the general normal nodes. So when you complete the normal level of a tier, so we're on tier 1 or floor 1 of the normal nodes, you unlock the hard nodes, and hard nodes cost more energy to do, but they also allow you to farm for character shards, which is needed to increase the star rarity of a character. The long and short of it, they just get stronger the higher star level they are, to a maximum of 7 stars. Go for the weaker character. You'll notice there's these bosses, so in the top right corner you can see it's labeled the Snow Trooper as a boss. They typically come with significantly inflated stats, usually just a lot spongier. It's easier to take out the weaker or more easily defeatable characters on the side before you start tackling the boss characters. So achievements. Achievements are great source of credits. Also great for trying to unlock some Darth Vader shards. And you also saw I got 10 shards of Royal Guard, which would be a useful dark side character in the beginning of the game. Let's back out really quick. Go ahead and activate Ewok Scout. So now we can start floor 2 of normal node. So if we go back really quick, you can see here's floor 1, and sometimes I'll go back and farm the normal nodes of floors just for certain gears. You can see the gears that are available here. You can also swap it over to hard node, and this is where you can climb up the hard node side and farm for characters you need there. Go ahead and activate Royal Guard. We're going to need a dark side team when we eventually move over to the dark side node. Might as well just get this done now. Oh boy. So journey guides. This is where there's legendary characters, special characters that are only unlockable through their events. So, kind of nice if you are looking at a character you want to ultimately go towards. You can go to their screen and it kind of gives you an idea, hey, here's what's recommended. So with Grandmaster Yoda, you just need Jedi characters to unlock. So you have a lot of options here. And then they kind of give you, a quick preview of abilities, as well as recommended team compositions. Pretty useful for newer players or players not really familiar with a character. So like here you have Thrawn, very useful support character for the Empire faction. And you can see for Thrawn requires Phoenix characters. And so you can see here the list of Phoenix characters. You really only need 5. So it's nice when there's events that have a little leeway for who you want to use. So here's C-3PO. So a lot of these legendary events you need to be level 85 to take part in. Player level 85. Okay, so take a look at our quests again. Let's go ahead and take care of some of this. So here's what I was talking about with taking a lower star character and earning shards to upgrade them. So if you go to find really quick, you can see where you can farm that particular character's shard. Also how many shards you own. So in this case, to go from 1 star to 2 star, typically a 1 star character unlock requires 10 shards. And then once you've unlocked a character, then the next level will require 15 shards. If you were to unlock that same character at, say, 2 stars, so they don't unlock at 1 star, they unlock at 2 stars, they combine all the shards required that you would normally have to use going, from start to finish. So it would be 25 shards to unlock a character at 2 stars. The amount of credits required to upgrade or promote characters does increase with each successive star level. So keep that in mind. The first time you ever unlock a character, it costs 100 credits, which is very nice for characters that are unlocked at 7 stars. Typically legendary characters. Alright, so promoted. Looks like leveling up a a character and equipping a piece of gear. That should take care of a lot of these quests. So, who do we want to go with here? Go ahead and take Luke. Data card. Bronzium data cards. I think you get 5 free cards a day. They're a great way for, as you can see here, character shards. So this is an unlock, which is very lucky. And then I have these ally points in the top right corner. So starting out, this is where I would spend all your ally points. Then you get gear like this, which is quite useful. So far, we're getting some nice RNG. Let's hope that continues. So we're doing a hard battle. They are much harder. Just keep that in mind. If you just cleared through the normal floor, the hard node for that floor is going to be more difficult. Go figure. But sometimes the difficulty ramps up quite a bit. So be prepared. So you can see I'm doing this battle manually. And that's really just to make sure I'm not going to let the AI make mistakes or use moves like the healing move too soon. I want to maximize the effects of the abilities, especially going into this third round. So this ability has a chance to turn back turn meter, but I'm going to hold off on that because they don't have a lot of turn meter built up. Turn meter is that blue bar beneath the health bar, in case you were wondering. Set this on auto and just let this play out. So we unlocked the Dooku node. Dooku's a very solid character, but I think we're going to try to continue through normal node. Pending what the quests and tutorials say. So sim tickets. Sim tickets are going to be the life and blood for late game. Early game, they are a luxury. So simming lets you essentially, and make sure you put this down to 1 because it likes to go at maximum, and it wouldn't do good to waste all of your sim tickets. But it just simulates the battle for you. There it is. Simple as that. 200 sim tickets. I don't remember getting 200 sim tickets last time I did this. But either way, that's much appreciated. Alright, so afternoon, I have my activity resets happen at midnight my time. It's how I like to play, and that means that by noon my time, is when the first of the energy refreshes. So the game gives you lump sums of energy refreshes throughout the day and evening. We've also unlocked our daily activities, which is huge. We're going to need to basically use this for leveling up. So you can see level 6 here. I am about 19 experience points away from leveling up. So for 40 more experience points, that will easily put us into level 7. Before we do that, I'm going to take care of this quest here really quick. Okay, so one of the quests that you see is to buy 4 shipments. Easiest place to do that is by going into the shipment store here and just buying all of the credit ones. I highly recommend. The shipments refresh periodically as well. So here we just reached the refresh period for, since it's afternoon my time. What I would recommend, however, is that you make sure that it's also within your daily activities, because I might be a little bit min-maxing here, but I want to make sure I don't have to go back and do stuff here. So whether you need these or not, never a bad idea to pick those up. And another quest complete. Look at that. Level up. Win one cantina battle. Alright. So I think before we start in that, we're going to do some preparations. So with that, I will end this video now. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next step. Adios.